Please take a second to subscribe, then like and share afterwards. We can really use your support. Thank you. I will be like the Most High. In our previous episode, Satanism, we explored the evil of satanic rituals and pedophilism in this world. Admittedly, it wasn't easy for anyone to stomach, but this series is going to make a turn towards prophecy once again, much like the Prophecies Uncovered series we did a couple of years ago. So you might want to commit to watching this series because it's going to delve deeper into the prophetic and what is truly happening in our world. We have already done a deep dive into the origins of evil as we saw in the Fallen Lucifer episode. But it is necessary for us to shed more light on how the enemy copies and inverts everything. Evil is an inversion and a lie, the inversion of truth. He is a liar and the father of lies. John 8:44. He is also the father of inversions, and his lies exist in parasitic relationship to the truth. Like a parasite, it requires that the host exists. Without the living host, the parasite could not live or even exist. And so, evil does not possess its own absolute or true existence of its own. It can only draw from God's good order. It must use the good in order to exist and do its bidding. Now, good can exist without evil, but evil cannot exist without good. Truth can exist without falsehood, but falsehood cannot exist without truth. Laws can exist without crimes, marriage without adultery, and life without murder. But these evils cannot exist without laws, marriage, or life. Similarly, destruction requires structure, immorality requires morality, and sin requires holy. Good is primary. Evil is the parasitic inversion of the good. And, inadvertently, evil testifies not against the existence of good, but actually for it. Satan may hate it, but he and his evil unwillingly bear witness to the existence of good, and ultimately to the existence of God. And this leads us to the mystery of evil's origin. One would ask, why create evil in the first place? After all, the King James tells us, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Isaiah 45:7. You see, evil was necessary to exist because to have a full comprehension of good, one must know it in context with what isn't good. Similarly, one cannot fully grasp the idea of light without knowing about darkness, the absence of the light, and one cannot grasp the idea of warmth or heat without knowing what cold is, or the absence of the warmth. This was known by Lucifer in heaven because the knowledge of good and evil wasn't reportedly kept from the angelic beings in heaven. However, God kept that knowledge away from mankind, but still it had to be possible for them to know it because of free will. But they would have never bothered to inquire of it, and never did, until Lucifer's temptation would bring about a whole new idea to the first couple, that disobedience was even possible. Now back to evil. Because Satan, who is of the highest order of the fallen angels, cannot directly act upon the face of earth, he can only do so through personhood. To oppose all that is good in the world, he must war against it. War against mankind is his entire modus operandi. He hates us because he hates God. We are made in God's image, and it is through mankind that Jesus Christ, the Messiah, was to redeem the world. destroying as many of us as possible by keeping us from God will result in men ending up in hell. If you truly want to know why hell is necessary, I suggest you watch our Mysteries Uncovered gospel message video. This explains everything. And what is hell exactly? It is the only place where God does not dwell. Thus, it is a place set aside for the fallen ones to go in the end. But for those who reject Christ, the Messiah, they get what they want: eternal separation from Him. That is where that is, the only place to be away from Him. In the end, people who are there really just get what they wanted. And because God isn't there, the enemy creatures can have their way with you any way they wish. And that is generally going to be torture. And God was gracious enough to warn us in the Bible that this is what it would be like if we don't accept Jesus. And so, the work of the enemy is to destroy His people and to destroy the work of God. He is the creator of destruction and the destroyer of creation. His works are anti-works. Evil can manifest so sharply in this world that even the atheist is forced to describe such phenomena as Nazism and the Holocaust as diabolical. The word diabolical comes from diabolos, from the word demon or Satan, each rooted in the realm that is beyond the natural and bearing witness to what is beyond rational explanation. Such evils like what the Nazis did are the manifestations of a war birthed not in the natural or rational, but in defiance of both, and waged by the one who exists to end existence, the parasitic enemy. Up next, we discover that this enemy is not only absolutely and dangerously real, but he is the active agent behind some of the most critical phenomena and movements of human history. It will be a focus on a mystery people, in opposition of God's people. Here on Prophecies Uncovered.